Magic academies are one of my favorite settings in anime, especially during the time of a brand new transfer student that joins and turns out to be the strongest student in the entire school and can definitely defeat any rival who challenges them. This is why today's video we will be taking a look at 10 anime transfer students that can destroy any rival. If you're new around here, then please make sure that you subscribe to the channel with the notifications bell icon turned on to stay up to date with the latest anime news and recommendations right at your doorstep. Now, without keeping y'all waiting, let us begin with the video. How about we begin this list off with one of the biggest Chinese anime series that have come out within the last few years, and is the daily life of the Immortal King. This one makes it feel like Chinese animation is really making strides and that they can make good quality animation if they wanted to. I'm really impressed with the animation. You know, normally people don't really like Chinese animation that much. Most of them feel like they're missing something, but over the course of time, they have improved massively and sometimes proved to be way better than Japanese animation. This right here is a story of a transfer student who is quite the invincible being with so much power, yet after rumors spread on the school of just how much of a strong being he really is, people just wish to challenge him to test his mighty strength, and oh boy, they are in it for quite a thrilling experience, baby. Next up on the list is a badass anime series with one of my favorite characters in the series of Index. This is a certain scientific accelerator. This animation was done by JC Staff and ACGT back in 2019, and it was actually pretty great. From the derpy, rather than lacking animation from Index Season 3, Accelerator takes the character designs to give itself a much more crispier, sharper, and updated look to them, and it's easy to see the updated animation. The battles were great as well to show off Accelerator's destructive capabilities, and even the backgrounding helped show Accelerator or, you know, certain characters' moods and feelings even in the bustling academy city, and you know, even the gory elements has been heightened due to, you know, it being Accelerator and all. Nonetheless though, great job from both studios who worked on this project. Blade Dance of the Elementalers. This one here is produced by Studio TNK in July 2014 and takes place in a fantasy world where magicians called Elementalers form sacred contracts with elemental spirits in order to be allowed to wield their powers. However, this privilege is only given to pure maidens of noble families who undergo training in order to become spirit contractors. This means that there are no male Elementalers, or at least there really shouldn't be. So now you can pretty much identify what the series is. It's one guy in an all-girls prestigious academy, which sums it up as a harem. It's not many people's favorite genre since it will involve quite a bit of ecchi moments and girls fighting over the protagonist, but hey, some people do really enjoy this kind of stuff, and it's all about mindless fun, which is what this show truly needs. The greatest demon lord is reborn as a typical nobody, the newest addition to the demon lord genre that features a powerful protagonist who has reincarnated due to loneliness in his previous life. This is made by Silverlink in 2022, and I'm sure many can understand on why people kind of dislike the show, and that it's mostly due to how extremely generic the show is. There's too much resemblance between Misfits of Demon Lord Academy, you know, with the series, but the story is just your basic fantasy story with an overpowered main lead that has lots of girls and nothing new really there. You know exactly how it's gonna turn out if there's no development or some surprising plot twist at some point. Though if you do enjoy a powerful demon lord kick some ass, you know, on those who underestimate his strength, then this is the anime just for you. It's nice when a show knows it's a meme and it truly embraces it. One of the only gripes with an anime is when, it takes itself too serious for what it is. And that is why the hidden dungeon Only I Can Enter is very aware that it's an ecchi fantasy full of waifus and an overpowered main character, but it embraces it and brings everything together in a way that still allows you to enjoy it. Simply put it, Oredake is a good time. There's no real plot here because other than rather shallow excuses for fan-servicing interactions between the main character and the girls, but you know what? That's okay, because they're great and hilarious at the same time. Every anime doesn't need to, reinvent the wheel to be great. This is the type of show that you just shut your brain off and, sit back for some mindless fun. Week after week, I am so amazed with how the ridiculousness of the antics and I had a blast with the show so damn much. Spiritu Chronicles is a typical isekai style show but has more connection to the previous world, especially as evident in the final episode. Now I must say, this show is very typical throughout and brushes a few bits like the school art, but it isn't necessarily that bad. The art is very good overall, it is very consistent and nicely animated in the fighting scenes. This was made by TMS Entertainment in 2021, and well, my biggest issue is the characters are very wide. It means that they're not very well developed. One minute they're important and the next they're suddenly really don't matter for the next few episodes, but then the story does move quite quickly. However, the anime is quite fun from start to finish, and it will provide you with great entertainment. Now we move on to an anime series created by Studio Madhouse. Now you would think that a studio as good as Madhouse would create amazing anime, but sometimes they won't do well at all, and that is the case when it comes to magical warfare. It's not a bad anime by all means, but more on the side of it having more interesting side characters than the main character himself, cut content, and sudden twists that happen without any reasoning behind them whatsoever. But the protagonist, he does suddenly gain magical powers from saving a girl, and afterwards transfers to a magic academy and was in fact the strongest in the entire school. Big Hail! The magic in it is quite cool, and there were, some pretty decent fight scenes. Also, near the end of the show, the story does get very interesting, and I could say that the anime was decent, but it's not the best I've ever seen. But at the very least, I do recommend it for you all to at least, just try it out. Yamada. Tokyo Ravens was created by Studio 8-Bit. It's one of those alien that actually is really good, despite some saying it's generic, even though it's really not. And now I kept following the story, it became more and more interesting to follow the main character and his friends, taking on enemy after enemy, trying to become powerful shamans or exorcists, and this is, this was the only way or a fraction of what the story was really focusing on. Still, there are parts, in the story that are half-heartedly explained, leaving you with a big question mark as what is really going on and why. They also seemed to overcomplicate the story, sometimes making it harder to get into, the zone when it comes to characters and scenery. Still though, the story has plenty of upsides to it, as well through the story with good plot twists and great rhythm and backstory to it. Back in the days, I've never seen a more badass protagonist in an anime like Akatsuki from Aesthetica of a Rogue Hero. This man is a complete savage and a very powerful, underestimated hero in the series. After slapping the Demon King around and stealing his daughter, our beloved hero Akatsuki returns from a fantasy land as an overpowered hero. He rides lightning-charged motorcycles, gets the ladies because this is a hair show after all, and crushes others using his giant weapon because he really can't use any magic. A refreshing character and premise indeed, but does refreshing exempt to the rest of the show from being quite mediocre? You know, it may be the case, but I still really enjoyed Aesthetica over Rogue Hero. It's a good old-fashioned shonen that I can happily recommend to everyone. Now finally, to end this list off, I'm recommending to all of you is Jujutsu Kaisen, a shonen anime that is really huge within the anime community and recently having its movie and now coming up with its second season sometime in 2023. Developed by the hardworking staff over at Studio Mappa, this anime and also the shonen industry is finally taking notes on how to make a successful adaptation. There is so many things to be said about Jujutsu Kaisen, but I, find it quite difficult on where to start because this anime is insanely good in every aspect. Itadori may have started with some superhuman strength of everyone wanting him to join their club. His life then changed a lot after getting invited to join the Tokyo Metropolitan Jujutsu Technical High School, where he will use his newfound powers to fight against evil cursed spirits and build his own path into becoming a great Jujutsu sorcerer the world has ever seen. Looks like you just made it to the end of the video and witnessed 10 anime transfer students that can destroy their rivals. If I've managed to leave any anime out in particular that you thought would be a great addition on the list, then comment down below as I'd love to hear your very new opinion, or just comment down below what you thought about the video in general as I'd always appreciate the feedback. So please enjoy the rest of your day and I'll be seeing you all in the next one.